Hello and welcome back to DJCamel Reviews, and today I'll be reviewing From Russia with Love, the second James Bond film directed by Terence Young, which came out in 1963 starring Sean Connery. And I'll just start this video off saying that I love this film. I think it's a tense spy thriller with pretty much the best, versions of every key element a Bond film can have. Sean Connery is impeccable in the role, suave, sophisticated, cool, and sells the emotion and the action perfectly. I think the villains, from Rosa Klebb to Kronstein, who's only in a couple of scenes but is this, intelligent like spy master who's a chess player, and Red Grant, played by the legendary Robert Shaw, who's most famous for being in Jaws, but he's um, starts off with this trend of a blonde, big, strong henchman kind of character who follows Bond around, and he doesn't actually have a dialogue scene until about an hour and a half into the movie, but when he does, it's this long, extended 10-15 minute sequence on the Orient Express in Europe, and that's just flawless from start to finish and ends in one of the best James Bond fights in the whole series, and starts another tradition of fights inside trains, which would happen in Spectre and Live and Let Die as well, and on top of trains in Octopussy and Skyfall. I think the music by John Barry, I'm not a huge fan of John Barry's work, especially in the action scenes, but most of the time then the action scenes aren't scored at all, so there isn't actually any music, but which works to full effect in the more exciting climactic sequences at the end of this film, which include a North by Northwest inspired scene where Bond is getting attacked by this helicopter and could get cut up by the blades, and then a boat chase after the fight on the train. But I think the music is phenomenal, and serves the tension as well. I think the story, it's Spectre, the big evil bad organization, is playing Britain against Russia and causing a conflict. There's a MacGuffin, the Lecter or something, some technology, but it's not important. I mean, it's important to the story, but what is important is the emotional stakes that Bond has with Tatiana, who's the Bond girl for this film, who was set up by the Russians, or set up by the Russians by Spectre in this complicated spy plot, which Bond is not aware of until really far into the film. So we have all the knowledge and we know exactly what's going on, and then pretty much it's all set up until about an hour and a half into the movie, where you have that long, drawn-out, tense sequence in the train with a fight, and then it leads on to the end of the film. It's just build up, and then that scene is crucial and actually works, and it makes the whole film work up until that point and leads on to a really exciting, tense finale. I think the set design, not by Ken Adam, I can't quite remember, Kane? Something Kane? Sid Kane did the production design for this film, and it's great, but not so elaborate and otherworldly and fantasy like Ken Adams sets in You Only Live Twice would become a couple of years down the line. The direction's great, you can tell what's going on at all times, in the action and the scenes, but there's also a good mystery to this film as well. And so, yeah, it does pretty much everything you'd want in a Bond film. It's not the funniest, but Connery does have his moments. He gives off some good lines, but it's not an escapist Bond film. In this way, it's more like just a perfect spy espionage thriller, which is what you'd want from a gritty kind of Cold War plotline like this. So yeah, it does everything it sets out to do. I think it's got some of the best elements, and I think it's Dr. No set up a formula, but From Russia with Love, only 2 films in, perfected it. So I'd give From Russia with Love about a 9 out of 10, something like that. I think it's probably the third best Bond film. I don't really have any major gripes with it, so I definitely recommend it. And I'll see you again on DJ Camel Reviews. Goodbye.